Hello and welcome to Elecspo. Right, the Newcastle United takeover has caused a load of controversy. The Magpies were taken over by PIF at the start of last month in a £305 million takeover that has made the Magpies one of the richest clubs in world football. Financially, they have the money that could take them all the way to the top of the footballing ladder, and a lot of clubs aren't very happy about that. So today, we're going to give those other clubs who aren't happy a little bit of a boost. The Newcastle takeover has happened. They are filthy rich. They have got their £200 million transfer budget. The only issue is they're not going to be spending it in the Premier League, not even the Championship, not Sky Bet League 1, not even Sky Bet League 2. That's because we have demoted, well, just me, there's no one else here, I have demoted Newcastle United to the Vanarama National League. Newcastle United, the richest club in the world, are a non-league team. How long will it take them to reclimb the ladder, and when they do so, will they finally be able to make it to the top of English football? Let's dive into the simulation, let's find out what happens. And if you haven't already, drop a like on this video, nice little comment below, algorithm and all that, and maybe hit the subscribe button as well, because you're a nice guy, I can just tell we've got a good rapport going on here. Anyway, let's get into this simulation. Okay, here we are. Here is the Vanarama National League. There you've got Maidenhead, you've got Grimsby Town, you've got Wealdstone, you've got Stockport, you've got Wrexham with their famous owners. But the club with the richest owners are Newcastle United. Sitting there in 13th place, they are a non-league team. Managed by Eddie Howe, Captain Jamal Lascelles. They're going to have a lot of money to spend. The only thing is, who are they going to be able to spend it on? I mean, who's going to want to come to the National League? Even the players they've already got, yes, they're not doing great in the Premier League at the minute, but how many of them will leave? Will saint-maximin get a move away? He's wanted by Palace and Leicester. Will Almiron go? He's wanted by Leicester. Even Callum Wilson, he could go. He's wanted by Spurs. Newcastle could lose a lot of their big players down in the non-league, but will it stop them reclimbing the football ladder? Let's simulate a year into the future. Let's see how Newcastle United get on in the National League. Right, here we are at the end of the first season of this simulation, and unsurprisingly Newcastle United have dominated. Despite being dumped in a non-league with all their riches, the big names have stayed, and they have won 43 out of 44 games. A goal difference of 103, they only lost once. That was a 3-0 defeat to Solihull Moors. They've got 129 points and are going up to the Football League. Next season they'll be in League 2. And what's funny to me here is, I mean, first things first, Joe Linton, 17 goals, clearly found his level, still didn't win the Golden Boot. Saint-Maximin, the best player in the division, and Sean Longstaff with 20 assists was beaten by Scott Wagstaff, so the Ballard of the Staffs has gone to the Aldershot midfielder. Let's check Newcastle out in a little bit more detail. 26 clean sheets for Martin Dubravka. Eddie Howe still the manager, unsurprisingly. Let's check the transfer history out. They've made a few signings and they've still been able to bring in some decent names. Fernando Llorente on a free, Matteo Masaccio on a free. They've got Ollie Burke from Sheffield United, a lad who kind of finished his dinner. They've got Kostas Tsimikas from Liverpool somehow. I've got no idea how they managed to pull that deal off. And they've even brought in Matty Lowton from Burnley. They got rid of Matt Ritchie, they got rid of Carl Darlow, they got rid of Mark Gillespie. That they were the only 3 first team players who actually left Newcastle. The likes of Saint-Maximin stayed, the likes of Wilson, Almiron. It's been relatively straightforward for Newcastle. Saint-Maximin, the star of the show, 7.7 average rating, 17 goals, 16 assists. But he is a wanted man, and he does want to leave. That's a little bit of an issue, and he's wanted by some big clubs, namely Bayern Munich. But Newcastle have had an alright old time in the National League. Almiron great, Llorente getting 13 goals, Callum Wilson got 23, Joe Linton 18, Ryan Fraser hit double figures, Isaac Hayden hit double figures. It's been great, everyone's had a great time, except for John Joe Shelvey, who didn't really play that much, but never mind. Even Santiago Munoz got some goals, 3 to be exact, but the main man's been Saint-Maximin, closely followed by Miguel Almiron. Christ, even Jamal Lascelles got 6 goals. It's been an absolute romp for Newcastle. Let's check the schedule out, see if they've won anything else. I mean, goodness me, look at that. Win after win after win after win after win. The first time they didn't win a game was the 1st of January 2022. And then they followed that up with a defeat in the FA Cup to Tottenham. They're the only 2 times this season that Newcastle didn't win. They ended the campaign with a 2-1 away win to Stockport, then they won the FA Trophy, a 2-0 win at Wembley against Grimsby Town. They have gone to Wembley, they've gone to the National Stadium, and Newcastle have finally won a trophy. That's what Amanda Staveley says they want to do. They want to win and compete for trophies. Within a year they've done it, even if it is the FA Trophy. But so far so good for Newcastle United. While they're not dominating in the Premier League, which wasn't going to be happening anyway, they are dominating in the National League, and they've been able to keep a hold of their best players. But will that continue in Season 2? Now we're going up to League 2, how will things change? Let's simulate another year into the future, let's see what happens. Right, here we are at the end of Season 2, and there's another title for Newcastle United. It is back-to-back promotions for the Magpies. They have came top of the pops once again, this time 44 wins out of 46. They lost one more game than they did in the National League, 132 points and a goal difference of 98. The games they lost, both away from home, they lost 3-2 to Stevenage and 3-0 to Exeter. But the biggest surprise here is that Solomon Kalou is playing for MK Dons. Is that the Solomon Kalou? It actually is. That is fantastic. He's arrived on a free. 7 goals, 6 assists, 7 player of the match awards. Well done, Solomon Kalou. That's the best thing about this simulation. I don't really care what Newcastle do anymore. But anyway, you can see here they've actually brought some players in. Callum Wilson with 22 goals. He wasn't the top scorer for Newcastle. That was a returning player, Jose Perez. The Spaniard is back at St James's Park. He's on loan from Leicester in League 2 and he's just scored 26 league goals. It just shows Newcastle have got real pulling power despite being in League 2. I mean, to get Perez from Leicester is a pretty big deal. Saint-Maximin, the best player in the division once again, 7.69, closely followed by Wilson and Miguel Almiron. Let's look at Newcastle in a bit more detail. It is still Eddie Howe, the manager. Let's check the transfers out. And some big names have got, well, a big name's gone. They've lost Jeff Hendrick, which is fine. Emil Kraft's been loaned out. Isaac Hayden loaned out. So is Matteo Masaccio. But the big news is that Alan Saint-Maximin has been sold to Barcelona on January transfer deadline day for a fee potentially rising to just £28 million. Newcastle, they've had to get rid of their best player for a fee that doesn't really represent his value. He's worth so much more than that. But he's gone at the new camp, and Saint-Maximin's love affair with Newcastle United is over. Newcastle haven't actually spent that much money in Season 2, they've mainly been focusing on loan deals. The big signing was Rob Dickey from QPR, 10 million, they got Damari Gray from Everton, Jorge Segura on a free, and the rest were loan deals. Jose Perez, Marvelous Nakamba, Sepp van den Berg, Amad Diallo and Anthony Dijksteel. Obviously we know how well Jose Perez has done. He's been the most expensive loan arrival. Let's see how Amad Diallo got on. Number 7 shirt. Fairly decent. Looks like he's been replacing Alan Saint-Maximin in attack. And overall, he's been the best player at the club. I mean, across the whole season, it's been Miguel Almiron and Joe Willock. But in his 6 months there, Amad Diallo, very, very good. Callum Wilson, 30 goals in all competitions. Jose Perez, 32 goals. Joe Willock, he got 22 himself. Sensational tally. Joe Linton again, 23 goals. He is loving it right now at Newcastle United. I mean, look at all those players who are getting higher than a Severin. It's almost a little bit too easy for Newcastle. I mean, I know they haven't been very good this season, but clearly they're a lot better than Sky Bet League 2. Yet again, just look at all the wins. Playing in the Papa John's Trophy this time. They were beaten in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, beaten by Man United. And the FA Cup, they made it to the quarter-final as well, which is pretty good. Beaten by Leeds though, 2-1 at St James's Park. Papa John's Trophy, they lost to the Arsenal under-23s, which is actually a little bit embarrassing. But overall, another good season for Newcastle United. The new owners have guided Newcastle to back-to-back title wins. It's not what they wanted, but it's what they're getting. And they haven't actually had to invest that much money, although they are paying big bucks in wages for the Premier League players in Sky Bet League 2. But it doesn't matter because it's won them back-to-back promotions. Can they make it a hat-trick? Let's find out. Okay, Season 3, League 1 and Newcastle are champions again, but this time they've actually drawn some games. 126 points, a third season in a row they've got more than 100 points. well clear of Preston, who were second. Newcastle won 41 out of 46, drew 3, lost 2. Games against Portsmouth and Preston have cost them an invincible season. Wilson yet again exceptional in front of goal. They've signed Bobby Decordova-Reid, he's been great. And they've also brought in Leonardo Campagna. He's been the top scorer, the Ecuadorian on loan from Wolves, 28 goals and 18 assists. That is an exceptional tally. I mean, I do wonder why he was allowed to go to League One, considering in the previous season he scored 18 goals in the Championship. It's no surprise he was so good in League One, but his goals for a massive loan fee of £5.75 million has taken Newcastle to another promotion, 3 in a row. Going down to non-league hasn't hit Newcastle too hard. They've even got a new captain, Predrag Rajakovic, a Serbian goalkeeper. He's the new captain, £10.5 million from Ream, and he got 21 clean sheets in 39 appearances. It's a big step down. He's gone from League One to the third tier of English football. Let's have a little look at who Newcastle have signed. Eddie Howe's still the manager there. They've got rid of Isaac Hayden, they've let Murphy go, Masacio's gone out on loan, Oliver Burke, he was a bit of a waste of time. Jamal Lascelles, the captain, sold to West Brom for a fee rising to £13 million. They've spent just shy of £30 million. The big signing was the goalkeeper we've just mentioned. They've also bought in Decordova-Reid for a bit of a bargain fee, Jack Stevens for a bargain, Loris Benito for a bargain, Pablo Maffio on a free, and Joe Rodon for £7.25 million. In fact, the biggest sign of the lot at the end of last season, Tanguy Ndombele on £125,000 a week. That's the contract Newcastle gave Tanguy Ndombele to play in League One. He hasn't even been that good. Average rating 6.99 in League One. I mean, I know he's inconsistent, but dear God. Let's check the players out. Let's see who's been the star. It hasn't been Ndombele. It's been Campagna, 34 goals in all competitions. Wilson got 26 this time. Yet again, Joe Linton doing well. Decordova-Reid got 17. Joe Willock got 12. Matty Longstaff, he's back. 10 goals, 13 assists. And once again, a plethora of players who are averaging higher than a 7. It looks like things are going brilliantly for Newcastle. Let's check the schedule out, see how they got on in the Papa Johns this time. League Cup, they were knocked out a little bit earlier, beaten by Burnley. That pesky Chris Wood getting on the score sheet. FA Cup, how far have they gone? 5th round, beaten by Wolves. And the Papa John's Trophy, they have won it. They won the final 1-0 at Wembley, beating Millwall to secure a second domestic trophy for PIF Amanda Staveley and Jamie Rubin. 3 titles, 2 trophies. Unfortunately, it isn't the ones they want, but they're getting closer to being back in the Premier League. They've paid the price for their somewhat controversial takeover. I suppose it wasn't their fault. Well, Saudis is a little bit their fault. But they're going to be in the Championship. They're edging closer to a return to Premier League football. Can they make it 4 promotions on the bounce? I've got a feeling they probably can, but let's find out. Right, here we are, Sky Bet Championship. Once again, Newcastle United are going up. They are back in the Premier League. But things have been a little bit trickier for the Magpies. They haven't won the title. That went to Crystal Palace, who finished 3 points ahead of Newcastle to secure the title. But Newcastle still going up automatically. They were 7 points clear of Sheffield United. But things have clearly been a lot tougher for Newcastle. They haven't won the Golden Boot. They haven't had the best player. They haven't got the most assists. They haven't got the most clean sheets. They haven't got the most Player of the Match awards. Nothing. But they are going up, and that is what matters. Newcastle, still managed by Eddie Howe. They've still got their Serbian captain. Let's check the schedule out. Let's see how they've got on. And there's even been a return to the Tyne Weir derby. Their first game in the Championship was a 2-1 defeat to West Brom, even though Tanguy Ndombele did put them in front. The first Tyne Weir derby in a long time came on the 24th of August, early in the season at the Stadium Light, and it was a 1-1 draw with new signing, a mega signing in Julian Brandt, securing a point for Newcastle United. He's been great in the Championship, 5 goals, 13 assists. I just can't believe this Newcastle team that's got a fair few stars, really, compared to Sunderland, could only get an 88th minute equaliser against the Black Cats. There was also a return to the Tyne Tees derby, which Newcastle won. Not as much of a derby, but Middlesbrough fans like it. Well, they're relatively interested. Carabao Cup, they made it to the quarter-final. It was Saudi Arabia versus Qatar, and it was Manchester City who triumphed. FA Cup, Arsenal knocked them out in the third round. What about the reverse fixture in the Tyne Weir derby? Newcastle won at St James's Park 2-0. And against Middlesbrough, they lost 2-0 at the Riverside. But they won the main one. They were undefeated against Sunderland. And they are going up to the Premier League. Let's have a little look at who they've brought in. Well, we'll see who's been sold first. Jacob Murphy's gone. Oliver Burke's gone. Jamal Lewis sold. Ryan Fraser. But they've still got the big names of Callum Wilson, Almiron. Coming in, they've spent £86 million. £20 million on Boubakary Samir. Lucas Moura on £6 million. Julian Brandt was a free transfer. Pretty damn good, that. Other big signing, Arthur Cabral, potentially rising to £28.5 million from Bayern Munich. He only played 16 times, he got 8 goals, pretty solid. But let's check the team out, let's see who the main man has been. And it has been Julian Brandt, closely followed by Takumi Minamino, even though he's barely played. Kostas Tsimikas has been a star, Joe Willock's been great. And Joe Linton once again getting double figures. Good on you, Joe, son. Callum Wilson didn't do that, he only got 6 goals. Joe Linton with 12, well, might not have been championship goals, 12 goals in all competitions. The top scorer was Ilyas Akomach, who was a Spaniard on loan from Liverpool. 16 championship goals. And Mamadou Karamoko also got double figures, but not as many players hitting double figures. The performances have really dropped for Newcastle in the Championship. Things are suddenly going to get a lot trickier for the Magpies, but the main thing is they are going up to the Premier League. After a 4-year spell outside of the top flight, they are back. They have done 4 promotions in a row, and now they are going to be a Premier League club with the Saudi riches to potentially make a splash in the Premier League. But can they do it? Let's see how they get on back in the top flight. Okay, here we are, the 11th of June 2026, Season 5 of this experiment. Newcastle are back in the Premier League, and my oh my had they made a splash. Despite being newly promoted, they have managed to come 8th in the Premier League, narrowly missing out, well not narrowly, getting quite close to European football. They were 7 points shy of Spurs, who have got that elusive Europa Conference League slot. But what a return that is for Newcastle. You can see there they've signed Odsonne Edouard from Crystal Palace, who've gone down. Odsonne Edouard got 22 goals, just missing out on the golden boot to Karim Adeyemi, but he was just as good as Erling Haaland, which speaks volumes. Let's check Newcastle out. Eddie Howe, still the manager. And they've got a new captain. It is Northern Irishman Daniel Ballard, 26-year-old centre-back. Came through the Arsenal Academy. One Premier League appearance before he left the Gunners. Joined Newcastle in League One. And it looks like he's been a little diamond of an addition. I mean, he's been okay in the Premier League, not exceptional, but enough to be captain. So we know Newcastle have signed Odsonne Edouard, but who else have they brought in? My oh my, have they spent some big money. We've seen over the years that they've spent a little bit of cash here and there, odd big signing, but now they're in the Premier League. They've spent a huge £199 million. On top of that, they also spent £42 million at the end of last season on Filip Benkovic, getting him from Shakhtar Donetsk. Let's have a little look at who they brought in. Edouard, £31 million. Martin van der Voort, Belgian goalkeeper, £35.5 million. £55 million on Dwight McNeil. £29 million on Wilfried Singo. They got Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth. Morelos from West Ham. Maximilian Verba, £22 million. And Alexandro, a big name, for £2.3 million. Big signings for Newcastle United. They've got rid of some... Joe Linton's gone. Oh, I'm quite disappointed that Joe Linton deserved a crack in the Premier League for everything he's done in this simulation, but he's gone, he's sold, and Newcastle United are facing up to a future without Big Joe. Let's see who the stars have been in a Newcastle shirt. I'm going to assume it's Odsonne Edouard. In fact, it's Wilfried Singo who's been the star player, 7.45. Then you've got Odson Edouard there in third, getting 29 goals in all competitions. Arthur Cabral, the other big scorer, he got 22. They were the only players to hit double figures. Assists, Wilfried Singo with 12, Dwight McNeil's played well. But when you have a little look at this squad, it is very different to the one they started the simulation with. Freddie Woodman, still there. Joe Willock, still there. Callum Wilson, although he's only had one sub-appearance this season. And that is literally it. It is totally changed. This Newcastle team is non-recognisable to the one who were dumped in non-league in the summer of 2021. But they've made it back, and now they've got the money to make a splash in the Premier League. And after one season, they have came 8th, which could be an ominous sign of things to come. Newcastle could be on the brink of something special, which is a big worry for the Premier League's Big Six. But will they be able to make that splash? Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go 5 years into the future. That'll take us to 2031, 10 years of this simulation. How far can Newcastle go? Will they have been hindered so much by their non-league journey, or will it not matter a bit? Let's find out. Okay, here we are 5 years into the future. Newcastle United 7th in the Premier League. They have made it into Europe, but how long have they been there? 61 points there, you can see, to finish 7th. Just shy of Chelsea on goal difference, so they were close to getting into the Europa League. Let's check Newcastle out, let's see what's been going on. And the new manager is Diego Simeone. It's no longer Eddie Howe. Instead, they've got the Atletico Madrid boss. Daniel Ballard still the captain though, which is quite surprising. Let's check the managers out. Eddie Howe left his job on the 20th of November 2029, and he even won a big trophy, winning the Europa Conference League. Newcastle United have done it. Forget the Papa John's or the FA trophy. Newcastle have won a trophy that actually matters. In 2029 they won the Europa Conference League. Eddie Howe left on the 20th of November, and weirdly he became the Brentford boss. But that is strange. But anyway, let's not focus on Eddie Howe here. He's done his bit. Now it's Diego Simeone. He's been there since the 16th of December 2029, and he's yet to win a league or a cup. Let's see Newcastle's finishes in the past few years. We left them on their return to the Premier League, where they came 8th. They followed that with a 9th place finish, 7th, 7th again, and 12th in 29-30. And then this season they have came 7th once again, but they haven't been able to crack the top 4. Let's have a look at the transfers in years gone by, see if they've brought in any big names, spent any big cash. We'll go back to the last summer we looked at. That was this one, 25-26. So at the end of that season they also brought in Brandon Williams from Dortmund. Next season they spent 173 million. Federico Valverde, the big sign, at 63 million pounds. They also got Patrick Schick and Jeremy Boga. Season after that down to 127 million. Still some big names coming in there, as you can see. Then it was 72 million. The money's slightly going down. 97 million. Ben White there, a big addition. And in the most recent season, 88 million pounds. 3.4 million of it spent on Ollie Skip. I'm going to assume the owners are still the same. Yep, we've still got Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the chairman. But funding has been scaled down on more than one occasion. 2 occasions. It happened in 2027 and it happened in 2030. So while Newcastle may have the richest owners, they're not having as much money pumped into the club. And it looks like 7th is kind of the best they can do. Let's have a little quick look at the team. Star player Dwight McNeil. You love to see it. What a man. They've even got Luis Suarez, but not the Luis Suarez, which is not really that surprising. Is there anyone still here who were there at the start? I'm going to assume no. Bear in mind this is 10 years into the future. Joe Willock's still there. Well done, Joe Willock. The man's probably a bloody club legend at this point. His favourite person now, that's good enough. But after 10 years, Newcastle United haven't been too hurt by their non-league demotion. They were dumped into the Vanarama National League. They still had all their riches, but they were a non-league team. It didn't stop them. They climbed the divisions. They made it back to the Premier League as quick as possible. Since then, they've been pretty good in the Premier League, but not quite at the level the new owners will expect. After 5 years of the Premier League, they've been a top half team and they've got into Europe. They've even won a trophy, which for most Newcastle fans will probably be good enough. But was it worth going down to the non-league for? I'm not so sure. We will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo. And until next time, we will see you around.